How's it going, you guys? Welcome back to the Fumble Live. Thank you so much for tuning in with us again. I'm Devin Howard on Instagram as at Devin Howard.
Jackie?
I am Jackie Ray. You got stuck there. I was worried. I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me everywhere at J Ray the Fanatic.
I am Britt Johnson. You can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson.
Hey, it's your boy Chris. You follow me everywhere at CK2K.
Devin,
are you? She's not moving.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, now we can
hear you. Can you hear us is the question.
Yes, but Britt, I find that you're often going in and out, and you'll say, like, I'm Britt.
I feel like that's what Jackie just did for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Well, I did do that, Devin. I did do that.
Okay. Okay. So let me. Hopefully, nothing happens, and I can just continue filling you in on what I'm going to be getting to today. We have kind of a lot of different rumors and stories swirling around about this and how it.
Let's talk about what we did today or yesterday first, because we can't hear you, Devin.
Okay.
Chris, what did you do yesterday?
My answer is the exact same as yesterday's live. I was just editing and working.
Oh, same. Well, I just wrote a little bit, and then so I started a poll on my social media because I've heard and I looked on Netflix. It's the number one watch thing on Netflix right now. The Tiger King, and so I did a poll to see if I should watch it. Everyone is telling me do not watch it. So because I'm vegetarian, I don't eat animals, and I don't believe in zoos or petting zoos or any of that stuff. So I think I'll get really freaked out if I watch it. But everybody told me don't watch it, because even people that I know that literally eat bacon every morning are not happy watching it. They're upset and sad about it. So I think I would probably cry. And I have too much anxiety with being in the house right now. It's probably not a good time to watch it. I don't know. Have you guys watched it yet?
Not yet. It's on my list. It's on my list.
This is my first time. Today was my first time hearing about it.
King. It's literally, but it's crazy because the title, after the title, the intro part says it's about crazy stuff with animals and polygamy and and I'm just in murder, and I'm just how are all these things combined in one video? It sounds kind of interesting because I'm what does the polygamy have to do with the tigers?
Right, exactly.
No. Interesting. I'm interested. Jackie, what about you?
So yesterday I spent all day writing. I did a podcast too with Nick Hamilton. Oh, and let me just shout out how you say
Hokey, $5.
Yes, because he actually he slid in my DMs with wait, I know what you're thinking, but with some legit business. With a legit business lead that panned out. So shouts out to him, because that's what's up. Yeah, I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Everybody's eyes got big. I was like, wait.
I love it. Yeah, you called it wait.
He's sliding in that DM though. Okay.
Oh my goodness. What'd you do, Britt? Well, you already told us, but you're going to work out today too, right?
Yeah, I literally have my workout clothes on right now.
Are you doing it in the house, or are you going to...
Okay, so what I have discovered that I'm obsessed with now is doing the stairs in my building. So, my building's 7 floors or whatever, plus the garage, so it's 8. So I just run up and down them 7 times, and it's so good. It's my favorite workout. Plus I have this old DVD, actual DVD that has the black bars on the side because it's not in HD.
Not big enough, right.
It's the best. It's the best workout video I've ever done. So I've been rotating between that. But I think it's crazy because I feel like everyone's going to get so comfortable working out at home and realizing they can do it at home that a lot of gyms are going to lose their members once we can start going to the gym again.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And Christian, shout out to him. He gave us $1.99.
Hey.
Instagram got me with the workout thing though. They had this advertisement that said, "Oh, are you trying?" Because I have Burn on my phone, which is a paid app that gives you workouts. And they're like, "Oh, are you tired of paying for apps to work out, try us. Ours is free. So I was like, and you get like meal planning, which is my main thing that I need help with. Devin is helping me out with that, though. Thank you. So I downloaded it, and they were like, okay, fill in all this stuff. And then they uploaded like a preview of a workout and then said, do you like this? Pay for the app and you can get
Jack, you should have saw that coming though. Jack, you just saw that coming.
You bastards got me.
I already knew that was coming up next.
That is so funny. But can I say one thing? I'm so sick of seeing everyone's forehead on Instagram doing their push-ups. Please stop. Please.
Yeah, and stop tagging everybody, please. I'm not going to do it. Friends, if you're watching this, I am not doing your damn 10 push-ups. So stop tagging me. Just going to put that out there.
Yeah. I'm not
okay. 5.
Devin, are you back?
Devin, how are we doing?
Hey.
Okay, I want you guys to tell me. Can you hear me? Do I sound like a robot?
You sound okay. Why don't you start with telling us what you did yesterday, and then we'll see if the robot comes out.
That's scary. Just a test.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Down with my good? Okay. So yesterday, I just did a little workout, got some Thai takeout for dinner. How's it sounding, you guys?
You're okay so far. Keep going. You're doing great.
Okay. Yeah, so I did, F45, that Australian workout class. I did that.
My friend, one of the head trainers over there. So I'm like, send me some videos to do.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great workout. My best friend and I went on Skype and did it together at the same time. It was really funny and awkward. But yeah, and I'm actually sore today, so it was a good workout, you guys, if you want to do. Okay, I'm going to jump in with the news since I want to take advantage of this good connection that we have. Let's start off by talking about Trent's GoFundMe account. Just interrupt if something's going on. So, he is the Clemson quarterback, and he and his girlfriend launched a GoFundMe page yesterday to help those impacted by the coronavirus outbreak. So it was a really altruistic and nice thing for him to do. But within hours, the GoFundMe was completely shut down. The school said it was a violation of NCAA rules. So college athletes aren't allowed to use crowdsourcing pages that utilizes their name, their image, their likeness for fundraising purposes. So this went against the rules that we all know very well with the NCAA. But by the time they had shut down the entire GoFundMe page, they had already raised $2,700. He and his girlfriend decided that they were going to donate it to some other organization like No Kid Hungry or Meals on Wheels. But then it was later after a ton of backlash that they weren't the ones who actually shut down the whole fundraiser. The school did. It was later reported that the NCAA will allow fundraisers for people impacted by the coronavirus at the university's discretion. So Clemson was the reason they didn't actually go through with the whole crowdsourcing campaign. They released a statement saying they asked to take down their fundraising page, and they said the university made the decision to pull it. And the NCAA said that they're proud of Trevor and his efforts, which I think is really nice. And then Trevor later posted on his Instagram saying, quote, "Shout out to the NCAA. Thank you all so much for granting a waiver. They're allowing us to raise money now originally. So they're supposed to have a new plan put in place sometime today. We'll check all of that. But yeah, so I'm curious what you all think about this kind of confusing cancellation of the crowdsourcing campaign. Britt, I'm getting notifications from our technical director. Am I having issues again? Can you guys not hear me anymore?
No, we can hear you, but we're having to concentrate.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try something. Else. But in the meantime, can you guys all talk and tell me what you feel about Trevor Lawrence and his girlfriend having their GoFundMe page taken down by Clemson? Britt, can you start off?
Yes. So I think it is so obviously very NCAA of them to do. Of course they're going to do something like that. Obviously, it sucks that Clemson is actually the one that is actually the culprit in here. They're the ones that did it. The NCAA came out quick and said, wait, hold on. Y'all get us for a lot of stuff, but this time it wasn't us. So Clemson obviously is at fault for this one. And this is the man, you did this to the man that won you guys a national championship last year as a freshman, beating Alabama, like, what was it, 44 to, like, 16? Like, blew Bama out of the water as a freshman quarterback. I have 2 words for you, Mr. Lawrence. Get out. You are a junior this upcoming season. Enjoy your last year as a junior and then enter into the draft, because, like, clearly I'm so sick of all this. They take advantage of the players, and in this instance it's not like the players were collecting money for themselves. He's literally trying to help other people out, and you're going to, like, bash him on his, like, good deed that he's doing. Like, come on, give us a break. Like, we're so sick of hearing everything that the NCAA does to negatively, like, harm these players in any way they can. And in this case, it was literally they're helping other people. He's not collecting a check. He's not keeping any of the money, and you still had a problem with it. And, like, I'm so over the NCAA. So after your junior year, please enter into the draft, because I'm sure you'll be a top 10 pick.
Yeah, I agree. I get what Clemson was doing as far as saying, oh, you know, it's a violation of the rules or whatnot. But what I really would have wanted them to do is kind of intercede on his behalf and say, hey, you know, this might be an NCAA violation. Go keep doing what you're doing. We're going to see if we can get the NCAA to kind of waive the situation. Because right now, if you don't waive it, you look like a douche. And the NCAA just has too much douche track record to really, you know, so it's unfortunate that Clemson was like, I don't know if they were gun shy or if they were just like knew how trash the NCAA is with these types of things, and then they just kind of jumped the gun or what. But this whole thing is just weird, especially when day after day after day we're seeing people are dying or, you know, kids can't eat. But I don't know. The whole thing was just like, I would love to know the thought process that went into saying, let's pull it down.
There is none.
Yeah, we're in unprecedented times. Like, you know, I think sometimes, especially in cases like this, you kind of got to throw the rule book out the window, you know?
Right. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, that literally was what I was going to say. Like, there's moments like this where I get it. I understand that's what they think is the right thing to do, which it's definitely not. But at the same time, in times like this, there's a moment where you can, you know, waive the rule and just go with what's right in a situation like this. And it's crazy. But again, NCAA going NCAA. So I'm also not surprised. So.
Oh, that's going to be my new insult. You NCAA. You.
Right.
So I'm thinking Devin is gone again. So I will just try to, at the top of my head, move on to the next one. So next one is, I believe, Karl-Anthony Towns. He posted an emotional video about his mom's battle with the COVID-19. I am not sure because I didn't produce this part, but do we have a video, Leo? If we have a video, can we get a clip of that video going? I'll wait a second to see if we have a video coming up. Maybe we don't. Okay, well, in the video, he said that his mom... Oh, here we go.
Our household, she's the boss. She's been in a medically induced coma. Since that day, I haven't talked to her, haven't been able to obviously communicate with her. I've just been getting updates on her condition. It's rough, and social distancing, please don't be in places with a lot of people. Just hide your chances of getting this disease, and this disease is not, it's deadly. It's deadly, and we're going to keep fighting on my side. Me and my family, we're going to keep fighting this. We're going to beat it. We're going to win. I hope my story helps. I hope my story gives you the correct information. You know, send my love to all your families, praying for every single one.
So obviously that was an extremely emotional video to watch. First time I saw it, I got tears in my eyes. It's about a 5-minute long video. He goes on to say his father did test for it too. He had to be quarantined separately from his mom, so he hasn't even been able to see his mom. He kind of talked to his mom on the phone a little bit before they went to the hospital, but he hasn't even physically been able to go see her, obviously, because she's quarantined alone, which I think is the biggest or the saddest part of all of this. Any of the people that are suffering and in the hospital from the coronavirus, like, they're secluded by themselves, and a lot of them end up passing away alone and by themselves. But I did appreciate that he wanted to take that time, even though it was hard for him to even get through the video and explain what was going on, to take that time and, you know, share his experience, because then maybe it'll put like a little ding in some people's heads, like, this is really serious. You know, we always need to put a face to a situation, and I think this was his way of doing that and expressing to everybody, like, this is, my mom was, you know, healthy. I was looking at pictures of him and his mom. She looked very young and active and stuff like that. So to see that he and she are going through this is really devastating. Jackie, what do you think about it?
I mean, it was a hard video for me to watch. There was a moment in the video where he said that his mom had said things to him that he didn't want to hear.
Right.
My dad passed away in 2015, so I can imagine exactly. They start to kind of say things to prepare you for life without him, and it breaks you. And it breaks you in a way that unless you've been through it, you really just can't understand. And I think at the same time, it's nerve-wracking, too, because, you know, he said in the video, too, that they're pretty sure based on the symptoms that it is the coronavirus, but at the same time, the tests haven't even come back yet. So they're kind of just trying this drug, trying that drug. And, you know, then she turned a corner and then she turned right back. And so to have to really sit there and not only process that, okay, it's probably the coronavirus, but then not know for sure. And then hear her saying these things that are probably kind of end of life statements. And then you can't be by her side.
Right.
It's a lot. Like, I can't even imagine. I can kind of imagine because I've been there, but especially when it's your mom and like, it's just, I appreciate him really doing this video because I think, unfortunately, and we've still seen it, they had to close parks here because people were still, you know, doing this shenanigans of like, let's get in big groups of people. So I think, unfortunately, it takes tragedies like this for people to have this light bulb go off. And I hope and pray that his mother pulls through this, but at the same time, I'm glad he shared it with us, and I hope that y'all get it together and understand you need to stay home. Stay home.
And that's the thing. I hope that people take that away from, because like Britt said, like, you gotta imagine how emotional it was. I mean, we saw it, to go through the situation and then know that your situation can help prevent other people from continuing to be ignorant throughout this entire situation. So just seeing that was, you know, of course the news and everything is heartbreaking too, but just seeing that, like, knowing, like, I'm sure that this is the last thing you want to do, and like make a video and talk about it and, you know, and share it with like millions of people. But in times like this, it needs to come out, and it just continues to show just how unknown this whole thing really is, and people need to take it serious. And it's sad, man. Like you said, I really hope that, you know, she does, you know, come out on top of this. And it was sad. Yeah, watching that on top, those 5 minutes was rough. It was really sad.
And I think people need to understand what flattening the curve means, because you know, thank God that she's in the hospital and they had a bed for her. But theoretically speaking, you know, if you're in an area that only has like 40 beds to take care of somebody who's having respiratory problems, and here you are, this 25-year-old who is eventually going to recover, but now we have to treat you and maybe 40 other people who decided to go to a Florida beach for spring break. And now here comes this woman who's older and we don't have a bed for her. And she's the one that needs the medical attention more than anybody. So that's why the social distancing. Yes, if you get it, if you're watching this, you are probably going to be fine. You probably won't even end up in the hospital. But did you pass it on to your mom? Did she pass it on to someone else? You have to be responsible for other people as well.
And not even just the beds. They have few beds, but they have even fewer ventilators, and his mom is currently on a ventilator now at this point. So that's, Jackie's exactly right with what she said. Devin, we saw that you're back. Do you want to add to the Karl-Anthony Towns story? See if you're working again?
So let me know if this starts to sound weird, but I'm on my computer now instead of my phone, and I think that it's going to work better from here on out, hopefully.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Karl-Anthony Towns' video was so heartbreaking, and I feel for him so much. I don't want to repeat too much of what you all have already said, but of course I think that we need to start taking social distancing, or we needed to start a long time ago taking social distancing a lot more seriously than people have been. It's not worth it to go, you know, party with your friends or get in big groups of people, because it ends up putting so many other lives at risk. So yeah, I'm sending love to, sorry, I think my audio is still on. I'm sending so much love to him and his family, and I hope that everything ends up going well. I'm going to take us into the next story, if you guys don't mind. I think we're all finished with that subject. the NFL training facilities are officially shut down, or they're shutting down, I think it's tonight. The league decided that they needed to do that for public safety. The higher-ups all released a memo saying that the facilities will be shut down, and it is going to hinder the team's off-season. There are employees who are exempted from the shutdown, which include athletic trainers and physicians, directors of facility security, technology staff. So there are people who are going to continue working at and for the facilities, but the athletes won't be able to be going inside. The NFL reminded franchises that they shouldn't let the shutting down of these facilities stop them from working on their off-season activities. The teams can also still sign free agents and scout prospects, but the GMs are pushing to postpone the draft. They're concerned that shutting down all of these facilities will hinder the team's ability to get physical, psychological testing, and getting info about the players that they would need in order to make good draft decisions. League sources have said it would be a competitive disadvantage to have some teams in their training facilities during the draft, while teams in California, New Jersey, and other hard-hit areas would be in lockdown and unable to be in their teams' buildings. So I'm curious if you guys feel that the draft should be pushed back. Do you agree with the GMs? Chris, why don't we start with you?
Well, yes and no. I do agree from the standpoint, because I understand why. Because we're not really getting to see any of the workouts, but at the same time, I do feel like, at least they did get to complete their season. So I mean, I know NFL is so much different than the NBA, because we see a lot of people, make jumps with the combine and with these workouts from their last game when they played in the NCAA season. But at the same time, I don't know, man. Selfishly, I want to say I feel like we could still go through it. Obviously, we wouldn't go through the draft the conventional way. But I still feel like that this is definitely something that could possibly go through regardless of with all the changes and everything that we have to go through right now, personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Britt, what's your take on this? Do you agree with the GMs?
So I agree with... No, I don't agree with the GMs. So I mean, the draft doesn't start till April 23rd. This Corona stuff's been going on for 2 weeks already, where people have been like in a lockdown kind of situation in some states. So you guys have time to like get physicals from players. Like, I think that's like a ridiculous statement to even make. You guys still, even at this point, have a whole entire month until you guys are supposed to draft. I think it's silly to push the draft back at all, because then also it pushes back like when players get to sign signing bonuses and start making money. So these kids need to start getting paid. So let's not push the draft back anymore. As far as one of the exact wording they said was employees providing medical treatment to players such as athletic trainers and physicians. So I was very unclear on, do players not get to go in the facility then? Because if you're saying that they get to still provide treatment to the players, are you guys just letting players go in one by one? I wasn't actually 100% sure what that meant, because you're saying the athletic trainers and physicians still can go in the building to provide treatment to players. So players must still be able to go into the building, but obviously they're going to limit the capacity on that, is what I took from it. But I think like I said, I like how the NFL has done stuff little by little, and I agree leveling the playing field for all 32 teams is the way to do it, because again, in California, we've been on lockdown for a little bit longer than some other places. Some places are still open for athletes to go in fully and do whatever they need to do and train in there. So I think to level it to where none of the athletes or everyone's getting the same limited access is the best way to do it leading up to the draft.
Mm-hmm. So, Jackie, what do you think is the motivation for the GMs to push back the draft if they aren't necessarily going to be negatively impacted by it?
I think everyone just wants to buy more time. I think the uncertainty of what this virus means just for the players, maybe their families. I think it's just people just don't know what's going on right now. But like Britt said, it's not. I don't think it's necessary, especially like she said, if they can't actually get physicals. And it's funny, when I read this article, I kind of giggled a little bit, because as I'm reading this article, a commercial pops up on my TV with this kid getting a physical via the internet. So I'm like, okay, well, clearly, call Kaiser Permanente. Y'all can figure this out, how to do physicals. And obviously, we also have therapy online now. So we can do psychological exams online. So it definitely is not a warranted thing, but I also think that GMs just don't know how to navigate the playing field that comes after the draft. So they might just be trying to buy some time so they can get everything that comes after that mapped out properly. So then everything can just move smoothly. But technically, there's no reason to push back the draft at all, especially for the fans. We need this.
Right.
So,
I want to say, though, that I do think digital psychological evaluations and physicals are probably less effective than in person. I don't know firsthand. I've never done it before, but I think there is something to be said for being there in person. And if they aren't able to do that, I guess, especially with a physical, I guess I could see how that might be a cause for concern for some of the GMs. But yeah, ultimately, I think that people do just want to buy more time and try to figure out how they're going to be navigating everything moving forward, because so much is up in the air still. So much is undetermined. I don't know. It's crazy, but we do need the draft. We need something to happen.
And really, it's interesting because we did already have the combine. So we got to see the bulk of the top players that are going to be in the NFL draft already, and they already had physicals done at that time. Obviously, a lot of teams didn't get to have their pro days, but we all know they have athletes that, okay, we're signing this athlete to an X amount of deal or whatever, and then they have the physical after the fact, and then the physical is what is like, okay, pending the physical, this person signs a contract with whatever. So to draft players, you don't have to have a physical done. Like, obviously, they have all played at the college level already and just recently played as late as mid-January with the bowl games and stuff like that. So, and most of them have competed at some level in a combine or a pro day, or even just working out with their colleges that they came from. So they can contact the colleges and say, hey, like, what was their last whatever when you guys did their final physical with your players or whatever. So yes, they can all still get drafted, and the draft can go on after the draft. Yes, it might be a little weird, or you might have a moment because then you have to bring the players in before they can officially sign their contract to get your team approved physical, which is why I believe they said maybe providing the athletic trainers and letting the physicians still stay in the building because of that moment after the draft when they have to do the physicals. But to draft them, you guys, for the most part, have most of the information you already need. If not, you might have to do a little extra legwork and contact the colleges personally, but it's the same as you guys going to go visit players or have players come to your facility to visit you.
Yeah, and that's why I believe like all this is, with everything you just said, it makes it more and more, makes me believe more and more this is all circled around Tua, because that's the thing. A lot of these teams are scared to make that pick at 3 or trade up and stuff like that because the unknown. Because of everything you said, Tua was not able to do those things, and now we got a 10-second video that dropped yesterday. So it's like, I know there's probably other players that have injury histories and stuff like that, but to me, like, this whole thing just seems circled around like someone like him, because we know him at his best and what he could be possibly for the team, but with his injury, there's still the question mark. So that's what I gather from this. But I mean, it's probably a lot more than that. But it sounds like this is a Tua-centric decision.
You guys, I want to jump into our final news story today. It's a feel-good story, and to be honest, I can use this after my stressful Skype. That was so complicated and weird. My phone stopped working for like 5 minutes. Anyway, jumping in, New Orleans has a new Zion in town, and it's a penguin. Yes. Okay, so the Audubon Aquarium of the Americas in New Orleans named their newest baby penguin Zion. They tweeted pictures of the little guy and said, "Hey, Zion Williamson and the Pelicans, meet Zion during these challenging times. You've embraced the community with a truly remarkable act of generosity. Let us know when you want to take your little brother to meet your namesake." That's so cute. Those little baby penguins are adorable.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, penguins are my favorite animal, so this made me happy. I just feel like it's a little thirsty because Zion Williamson, New Orleans. I get that. That's my only negative to the whole thing. But outside of that, I completely love this. Love this entire story.
Yeah,
I just want to see Zion hold. I want him to go. Obviously, not now. Okay,
right.
So thing. I
Right.
Don't put me on blast. I know, but I just want to see him because he's so massive, and this little baby penguin. It's gonna be the cutest picture. It's not thirsty at all, Chris. I just think it's just.
Man.
I know. I mean, I like baby animals of all sorts, and I like Zion Williamson so much too. So this combines two really just like great wholesome things together, and to create one beautiful moment. I think we could all use a happy moment right now. So that wraps up the news for you all today. Chris, why don't you take us into WTF?
No, why don't you post up?
Yeah, I gotta do my post up, Kevin.
Guys, I'm all over the place today.
No, you're good. Yeah, guys, time for post up. Quarantine edition. We're going right into. There's a lot of funny stuff. I don't have as much many things to talk about today, but we are going into somebody we've been talking about a lot this past week, especially yesterday, after the news that the Carolina Panthers were going to release their franchise quarterback Cam Newton. And Cam Newton could care less because he is ready for wherever his next stop will be, because ever since the news started up, he has been posting pictures of his workout plans, and they are very, very, very sweaty. Very sweaty. It's nasty. But there's videos and stuff too, but it's really just you're not missing anything with the videos. But look at these pictures. Cam Newton getting it in, getting ready for his next stop. Now, here's my question for you ladies. Do you guys believe that this is all just to, get everybody, hyped up, and what we should be buying in on this, Cam's ready to come back? Or is there's absolutely nothing we should be taking away from this at all?
I think this is great. My whole thing with the Cam Newton situation and him getting released from the team is his reaction. It's always about your reaction to something, not what happens to you. And this is a good first start to a reaction. He's like, I'm going to be focused. I'm going to be in here in this gym, in my house. I'm almost too big for this little stair stepper I'm on, but I'm going to get it in anyway. And I love it. Like he was putting in work wherever he can, however he can. The couple videos that showed that video clip of him working out, he's smiling, he's waving his head around, he's sweating. In a good mood, like focused. Yes, so I loved it. Like it's all about how you react to situations that happen to you, and I think this was a good first reaction from him.
I loved it. I thought he was. I thought it was a perfect way to react. I did have a moment that I was like, I'm gonna call my barber friend and send him over to Cam's house because that hair is just.
Girl, yes. Like I said, I used to know Cam when he was like in college, and he used to have just a nice little fade, and now he got this little buckwheat thing going.
And I gotta make myself focus right here because everything over here, I'm like, just focus.
Distraction.
Right. But I love it because one of the things, the narratives that we keep talking about with Cam is he healthy? Is he healthy? So. Use social media to, make your own narrative, change the narrative to your favor. And so I think that this is exactly what he should be doing. I love the sweat because that shows that he's been working hard. I just really, really, I'll pay for it, Cam. I know you got all that money. I'll pay for myself. I promise you I will.
I want to call out a super chat that we got from Christian Orr. He says, breaking news. Taiga Kagami signed to Golden State. That is an anime character, I have been informed. So
we'll appreciate the super chat. Thank you.
That
don't sound right.
Did notice. I was like, that a real person?
No, that's
I know. I saw it too.
I know him, and I know everybody.
But I also want to say I'm glad to see Cam Newton getting out there, working out, showing it off on social media. I want him to have another a good solid run. I like him as a person. Oh wait, we got another one from Christian Orr. Cam just signed with WWE and will fight Gronk. Hey, I'd like to see that happen.
No. That he might lose that fight. Let's stick to battles we can win.
Yeah, right. I'm taking Gronk on that one for sure.
That was really nice.
Yeah, I've been known in my friend group as a Cam hater, but that's only because the jersey that was on his chest, the jersey is gone now, so I can go back to supporting Cam like I did before he was drafted. So I'm looking forward to wherever he goes next. Moving on to somebody that I've always supported, that is Drew Brees and his family, because he's seen all the LeBron James stuff on Post Up. So he's like, yo, see, Chris, I got something for you, man. Here's a video that you could be putting up. But now, originally over the week, he posted a video of just the kids dunking and stuff like that. But the Saints Twitter, whoever is handling the Saints social media, went in and edited. And you see the edit here. Everybody's reaction to the dunks that they're doing. They even have their the New Orleans Pelicans radio host doing voiceovers and talking about, oh, from downtown, he's dunking over his brother, the corn dog dunk. And so it's great. We can't play the sound because they are playing the OG NBA on NBC song. Y'all know that song. Yeah. I don't want to take that hit here on the Fumble, but yeah, video's great, fantastic stuff. Go ahead, the Breeze boys.
This is what I'm talking about, the difference between rich people quarantining and me quarantining,
right.
On their whole entire basketball court that freaking overlooks the rest of the world, all the peasants down there.
All the peasants of New Orleans.
Me.
Like, how far did he have to run for that first dunk? My apartment's not even that long. What the hell?
I know.
Right. Yeah, I love that. Shout out to the Breeze boys. Now, this next one, too, had me and my girlfriend crying, laughing last night because we love Kavya because her whole demeanor is a mood, right? So she, I'm not even going to say, I'm just let Shaq do his attempt at trying to make Kavya smile. Here's the video from TNT yesterday.
Smile. Shaq?
Okay. All right. Kavya, my name is Uncle Shacky. Shacky, I'm going to kiss you when you're cheeky. La 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 la.
Candace waiting for it too. She's like, "Oh, not happening."
Like, wait too.
Dwayne Wade's like, "Oh God."
My favorite part is the end. He's like, "Did it work?" And he's like, "I don't think so, man." It's like,
She just looking at him like, "Who are you?"
How they're doing, man?
Daddy,
is this your friend?
Normally, I'm not a fan of parents opening social media accounts for the kids, but I'm sorry, she needs it because every picture is her making a face at somebody.
She got a stank face all the time.
She get it from her mama. You know her mama's stank face is classic.
Yeah, remember all those videos where she's like, I'm going off on D Wade on the sideline or whatever. I think she's like, right. And then somebody walks by and she's off. And it goes
oh my God, yeah, I love it. I know the Wade's trying to take over from the James gang, but I know Jackie won't let that happen, but we'll see.
I will single-handedly increase their social media presence.
Well, you don't have to because you're on the Post Up. I got your back because next up we got LeBron James bringing back Taco Tuesday. He started off a little soft, but he got back into it. So here's LeBron James reminding us about what Tuesdays really mean. Some point.
I know everybody's been thinking about what's been going on, man, but just trying to stay positive as much as possible. Continue to spend this great time with your loved ones. And know one thing, dog. Y'all know what the day is, right? I said, do y'all know what today is? Today is Taco Tuesday!
But look at his gourmet tacos, though.
I know. That brings me back to some sort of normalcy, though. I'm like, I feel like the NBA is coming back, and it's right around the corner.
Right.
I love
everybody at?
his tacos. Look so gourmet. I made tacos yesterday using like canned beans and spinach that's on the verge of like not being good anymore.
Look, when I made mine and I'm trying to pick them up and eat, the shell broke at the bottom and all the stuff fell out.
Best?
Clearly, these are not LeBron tacos.
Right. There, see? Positive. There you go, Britt. Positive, It's got a different dish.
You gotta use soft corn tortilla shells, no crunchy shells. The soft shells hold up better. Not
or
shells.
You can just you can step in the Chris kitchen. You can make your own tortillas, but that's another thing.
Okay, Chris. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Do you make them or does your girl make them?
No, it's me. Oh no.
I think we need to see a video of this. You're gonna need to post a video.
Look, with all this time, I might. You definitely right. With all this time we got, I might have to start making food videos.
With your boy Chris.
Yeah. Cooked up with your boy Chris Quarantine Edition. Nah.
Love it.
I'll watch it.
Fumble says prove it. I agree. Prove it, Chris.
Yep.
All right. Okay. All right. I might have to.
And I don't want it all edited to where it doesn't even look like you actually cooked it. Like, I don't want your girl to come in and then you come in and spin something around your finger. Like,
if she
I
wasn't
need to
working,
see the actual
in
video.
another room, I'll pull her in here and be like, tell them the truth. But she working, so
I need it to be like a live video or something. I need to know you're actually making them.
Okay.
As an editor, I know you could get a little tricky.
Oh yeah, we need live streamed.
Right. See like white hands cooking and stuff like that. Hey, Chris, who's that? That's not no. He's editing.
Nails all done.
Right. All right. No. On to the next one. This one's pretty crazy, but you guys know I'm a hater when it comes to these trick shots, and I'm gonna be a little hater on this one too. What's it called? Bleacher Report even called him, or whoever posted, they even called him out. But this dude hit a double shot trick shot. One rim, the close rim he was at, and he threw the other ball at the farther rim. Now I know it's impressive. I know you guys can be like, oh, it's so cool, but look at the reaction though. Normally they're like, oh my God. You can tell that they've been there.
It took him 311 times. Okay?
Exactly. The reaction is what is that to me. That's just as important as the shot itself. And there was no reaction on that one. Even with two of them, they could have been more of a reaction.
They were tired because they already did it so many times.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's important.
Yep.
And last but not least, I have some magic for you guys. I know I bring you guys a lot of sports, but I also like to bring magic to the show. Actually, it's my first time doing it. We got a guy named Gerald who his video got picked up by SportsCenter, and they're like, how did he do this? And I think I know how he did it, but I want you guys to see it first. This man is doing an invisible plank. Okay? He's in Britt's favorite angle, by the way. She loves these push-up angles.
The forehead look.
Yeah, the forehead.
I love seeing everyone.
Got a hat on.
Yeah.
Here we go. Ready to see some magic?
There's a string holding him up. There's a string. It's got to be.
I'll give him my look. Any ideas? What are you guys thinking?
Maybe
He's definitely not Michael Jackson.
Nope. No Michael Jackson in there.
Okay.
I don't know. How did he do this?
Okay, I don't know if this is confirmed, but you can see that his body was perfectly. He would not move. He was staying as still as possible. I believe there was somebody in the couch behind him that was holding him up because he wasn't straining or anything. That was holding up his shirt. And then the minute he put his hands down,
Leo, can we see this again, please?
Yeah, because I need to see if anything tightens up on his shirt, though. Because we would see if something tightened up on his shirt.
Okay,
but maybe because he's leaned back so high, because you can't see behind his. Wait.
You see how he's staying as still as possible. He's waiting, giving them time.
Watch his shirt, see if anything tightens. Nothing. Maybe on his butt.
You can't see behind him. You know.
See what I'm saying?
Up high, so somebody could be sitting behind him.
Yep, and then
wait till when he comes down, though.
But look how long he takes.
But he's gonna move. He's gonna move.
He waits. He's going slow. They're already gone. They ducking down.
Wait, no, but
how would they go? We would have seen him go by.
No, they're down. They're ducking.
No, the couch. It was like a couch thing, and then they went back behind the couch.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
I rented The Invisible Man yesterday and watched that, and
so that's
maybe
what it is.
Yeah, he's wearing the Invisible Man suit. Someone's just holding him up and then just scurries away.
Or he could be in a full-on green sheet and he just keyed him out.
That's
too much work. You would have definitely saw.
It's possible.
You would have definitely saw someone's hands like pressing up on his chest, though.
Wait, so Anthony says that's all fake if you look at the wall shadow. We should have paid attention to the wall shadow.
It still goes hand in hand with my.
But yeah,
Leo was like, look at the shadow.
Leo was like, you got telling us like I told you guys.
Okay.
But it's
the shadow.
It looks like he hooked himself onto something when he lifts his hands up.
Yeah, because his shirt would have pulled back if somebody was grabbing his shirt or pants.
It's like, he hooks onto something.
What am I supposed to see in this shadow?
Yeah,
the bottom of his shoe is probably like a hook onto the bed, and he hooks them onto the bed. He puts his feet into the bed.
But if he was doing that, he'd be straining. Because you still got to use some kind of upper body to keep yourself from falling. But he's not straining at all.
He's strong a little bit, but I feel like his feet are stuck into something. Like when he puts his legs back, his feet, it's like he's clipping his foot onto something. And then when he comes back down, he takes it out.
Well,
It's
Oh,
a slide.
I
I don't know. Because who can even do that with slides on anyway? Like,
That's why I don't know if that would
Right,
be
he
it,
would've
because he's wearing
slipped,
slides. Yeah.
You know what? Liquid 8V says he's got a belt on attached to the ceiling. So
That would be so
man,
painful. I don't know if that's the.
I don't know.
No, and
Oh.
where's he
I'm
getting?
about to like DM this guy and figure it out.
Yeah,
I'll
Gerald.
like snooze my way in and be like, "Hey, boo, how you doing?" and act like I'm trying to talk to him for a little bit, and then I'll be like, "So how'd you do the trick, bro? I gotta know. I'll come over your house and hang out, but you gotta tell me how you did the trick." Okay?
He gonna put you in quarantine once you get there. Be careful, girl. Be careful.
And that's just a post up.
All right, so are y'all ready? This one's gonna be WT freaking F because I missed it. It actually happened earlier this month. But for those of you who didn't know, the U.S. Soccer Federation is being sued for pay discrimination. The female soccer team is saying they're not paid the same wages as the men. And in court documents, this is the part that gets me, because they filed court documents earlier this month that said the federation is male players have more responsibility, and the men's team requires a higher skill level than their female counterparts. They actually put that in the court documents against this suit that they're being sued for $66 million in damages. What the freaking F? Like, why do you write that down? Why do you write that down and submit it to the court?
Well, it's pretty crazy. I actually covered this for MSNBC last year when the women's team had won the World Cup again, and they had already, during that time, they had already filed a suit against the U.S. Federation or whatever. It is crazy because, you guys, the men haven't even been to the World Cup in years. The closest they had ever came was in like 1936 when they got in third place at the World Cup, but since then they haven't won crap. The women dominate. Some of the ladies on the women's team have literally went and had babies and then came back, and you're trying to tell me that that's easier to do than the men just playing this whole entire time and not even making it to the World Cup, let alone like anything else. They literally don't make it to the World Cup ever. The women's team actually, right after this was announced, which was we had a lot going on because that was when the NBA originally had said that they were postponing their season or whatever, was like the day that this kind of came out. And the women had a game that evening, and they all wore their jerseys inside out because they were so upset with like how their own country is treated. The women's team is amazing. They've won like 3 of the last 4 World Cups. Like, they've won like gold medals on top of gold medals. Like, they've won like out of the last 12 years with the World Cup or the Olympics, they've won like 2 or 3 of those. Like, they're insane. Like, they're like literally the bomb, and we literally continue to treat them like crap. They were getting paid 60 cents on the dollar of what the men's team makes, and the men's team doesn't even make it ever. So it's pretty sad.
I'm surprised that we still live in a time where women aren't compensated equally as men, and I think that, you know, that's still a long road. What I'm surprised at is you put it in writing.
Fine print.
They truly believe that. That's why it's sad that they truly.
And you're gonna just let a jury read like, oh, okay, they really just don't want to pay. This right here. Why would you do that?
Yeah, well, it's a jury full of men, though, or not a jury, like the Supreme Court judges and stuff, full of men. There's no women on it, but one right now, and she's a white woman. But there's no women on it. Like, so the men obviously think, yeah, we do work harder and we whatever. And I get like WNBA and NBA, like there's more people that watch the NBA and they whatever make more money because more people go to the games. But the women's World Cup or the women's national team gets more views than the men's team does and actually makes it to the World Cup. So like in that perspective, the men are still making 40 cents more on a dollar than a woman is, and the men's team is actually, nobody cares. Like, can you name two, 3 guys that are on the men's USA team right now?
No.
You can name almost all the women's teams. Like, you know, like, it's crazy. Like, they have exceeded the men in popularity, and they exceed the men in what they bring back to the organization as far as dollar amount is. It's crazy.
I'm
You can
tripping on
talk
these
about-
comments because people are really kind of low key co-signing on this in the
And
comments.
that's what I was gonna say.
Because
You could
they're
talk
men,
about skill
yeah.
gap in sports, but soccer's not one of the sports that there's a
Exactly.
big skill
Right.
gap in at all. Like you could say, sure, football and like sure, okay, but in soccer, that is not one where there's
Right.
a big skill gap
Yeah.
at all.
I need
So
y'all to
that's
do
hard
better
for
in
me.
these comments. This is
No, yeah.
Anyway,
When I talked about it, it was the same thing. All the guys were like, "Yeah, but the women don't do this," and I'm just like, "Whatever, you guys."
Yeah, but then there's countless videos of men like getting that fake pregnancy pain and doubling over and can't even move. So
Right.
yeah, you guys are so much better at fine, whatever.
You guys
Anyway.
get
Of the flop.
Oh, let me get off this.
I love it when they do those contraction simulations on
Yeah.
men.
Right.
And men literally start crying like little girls.
If
But
it was up to
whatever.
men to have babies, we would be extinct already.
Yeah. There would be 10 people on this planet, and they would be doing social distancing. You're not getting me pregnant, no. Anywho, all right. So yesterday, Chris talked about the photographer that was trying to keep up on his skills with taking pictures
You
of
got the
TV.
photos?
I did not get the photos.
Oh.
Look at you. Now I'm going to have to go find these damn photos. I done teased you like that so long. But anyway, so your boy Joe Buck is trying to do the same thing, which is funny to me because Arthur and I, we have this conversation all the time about how dry and bland he is. But he took to Twitter and he said, "I have good news for you. While we're all on quarantine right now without any sport, I'd love to get some practice reps in. Send me videos of what you're doing at home and I'll work on my play-by-play." So, which is good because I think he needs to practice because if it wasn't for Troy Aikman, he'd be dry as hell. But he did post his first play-by-play with his wife and son. And when I tell you bland, let's take a look at that.
See,
And this is probably more interesting than that.
Bill on the left is trying to prepare dinner. Wyatt on the right fighting back a yawn, dressed like kind of a half-assed Fred Flintstone. And he wants to watch Blippi, folks. Oh, and he's hit his mom. He has hit his mom.
Oh,
Mom is playing it up. Wyatt is crying. All hell is broken loose inside this house. Quarantine day 7. For us, it's about day 13.
that commentary would have went totally different if
Oh, but they're
I had slapped my mom in the head and my dad was calling this
Girl.
play-by-play.
it would have been a different show.
Totally different show. But, Twitter is the crazy thing is as much slack as we give Joe Buck, Twitter seems to love him because one Twitter user said, "I don't care what anyone says, Joe Buck is the GOAT. My personal favorite is the World Series Joe Buck." And that is the worst Joe Buck.
Oh,
I think everybody loves Joe Buck because they loved his daddy, and so I think it's just like, oh, we gotta love the son because the daddy did it for so long and he was so good. Like, I don't know.
All right, last but not least, last season I said that I knew that the Currys wanted Seth to win and not Steph, even though they wore those split jerseys, and I have the proof now because on their podcast they said that that's exactly what they wanted, so take a listen.
Because Steph already had 3 rings.
we didn't tell the media that, but
Right.
that was our choice.
Yeah, so I said something. That's
Huh.
Told ya.
I mean, I feel bad for Seth sometimes, you gotta, because I literally keep seeing stuff and it's like, oh, like Steph Curry's mom, like how to raise a superstar. And then it's
That's
like,
so
Seth's
true.
like, I'm in the NBA too.
I'm her son too. It's a really good podcast though. So if you guys need something to do, it's a good podcast. You should check it out. But that's all I got. So now it's time for Brit's takes.
What's up, guys? So I know most of you guys heard the crazy news that happened in the NBA last night. My guy did some big baller moves. He paid $400 million cash money for the Forum. Obviously, Chris's guy, if I can call him that.
Get him out of here.
James Dolan, who owns the Knicks and Madison Square Garden, also has been owning the Forum for forever in Inglewood, and he has been giving the Clippers a really hard time because the Clippers have been trying to open up their arena, which is supposed to be just down the street, and they've come into so much drama and legal things, and James Dolan keeps trying to sue and back and forth stuff. So Steve Ballmer's just like, bro, what you want? Here, let me throw a little cash at you and get you out here. You know? So he literally, yes, took the money in a big giant suitcase, I imagine, and just gave him, I don't even know what $400 million cash looks like, but it would probably take up my whole room. But he took it, gave him cash money, $400 million to buy the Forum. And this is not so the Clippers can play at the Forum. This is still so he can now still build the arena next to the Forum. So the Forum is still staying the Forum. It is going to be a music venue only. So Lakers, you have not gotten rid of us just yet. We are going to be still playing at Staples Center until, reportedly, who knows with this coronavirus and the delay on stuff, 2024 is when the new stadium is supposed to be built. It's going to be less than half a mile from the new NFL stadium, which is supposed to be finished originally this summer, but I'm sure that is going to be delayed as well. But the NFL stadium is supposed to be finished. So it's going to be like an Inglewood, like whole little area where they're going to have the Forum as a music facility, and then the new Clippers facility, which is going to be a $1 billion project, is going to be called the Inglewood Basketball and Entertainment Schedule, and again, it's scheduled to open 2024. They're going to have about 18,000 seats. It's going to be on 22 acres. It's going to be like literally the best of the best, so we don't even want to play at the Staples Center anymore. Like, Inglewood's going to be the new happening spot for all sports. Everything is going to go down there. In between both of those facilities with the NFL and NBA, they plan on, trying to do Olympics there and bid on Olympic stuff to have the Olympics there, which we already know the Olympics are going to be coming back in 2024. Depending on now, I don't know if everything's going to get moved back a year, but we're supposed to get the Olympics back. No, I think it's 2024, I think, or 2028, one of those two. But the LA is supposed to get the Olympics coming soon, so obviously they're trying to get all of this done so they can have them both as multi-use facilities. But, like, shout out to my guy. Like, he bought the Clippers in 2014 for $2 billion. At the time, that was the most anybody has ever spent on a team. And a lot of people were wondering, like, is he going to bring the Clippers to Seattle, because he was always known as a big Seattle Supersonics fan, and when Seattle moved to OKC in 2008, everyone knew he was openly looking for a team to come to Seattle and restart the Seattle Supersonics. So once he bought the Clippers in 2014, everyone thought that's what he was going to do. He decided not to do that at the time because of all the stuff going on with Donald Sterling, and had to sign a deal saying for the time being he would keep the Clippers in LA. But I think this officially means he's keeping the Clippers in Los Angeles by building this new stadium, by, like, buying the Forum. Like, this is so amazing. It's such good news for me as a Clipper fan, because I wouldn't want to go all the way to Seattle to see my team play. He's also not just doing that, he is also putting together some affordable housing for people, because a lot of issues have come in the Inglewood area about gentrification and throwing people out of their homes, and obviously the property values in those areas has already skyrocketed because of the NFL arena, and then now the NBA arena that's going to be built there. And he has committed to putting in $75 million of affordable housing in that area to keep the people in their community. So, this guy is like the greatest owner ever, right? Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I'm not going to go all the way over to greatest owner ever, but I like it.
The addition of affordable housing is so important because, yeah, exactly like you were saying, Inglewood is being gentrified very, very quickly, as well as the surrounding neighborhoods. Yeah. And it's pushing out people who have lived there for decades and decades. And so it's always a little nerve-wracking when you see this happening in LA, when they start building up new apartment complexes and new entertainment centers. And I think that it was really important and shows that this goes beyond just profit for him. Like, he's there to offer a space that belongs to the Clippers and a place where people can go and watch their teams play, but also wants to make sure that there's opportunities for the families that have lived there for so long to continue living there. I think that's huge. It's so important. And I feel like it's been kind of fun to have the Lakers. Go
ahead and say it.
I'm sure they're drinking
thinking about right now.
They're drinking right now for sure.
No, I've just had 2 cups of coffee. I'm just highly caffeinated. I
Kahlua in it or what?
What? That's why you were
Kahlua in it or what?
They're just with some oat milk. That's all, you guys. Anyway, I have thought it was fun having the Staples Center be shared by the Lakers and the Clippers because it like ups that rivalry quite a bit. But I think it's good for them to each have their own homes.
Let me say this, and Britt's gonna be like coming for me, but I'm glad y'all are leaving because eventually, and I don't even mean that as any shade. If you've gone to a Laker game and a Clipper game, which I have a friend who has tickets, so I go to both. The turn up at the Clippers game is way better than the turn up at the Lakers.
Yes.
And maybe my Lakers can get it together once y'all leave. Because damn it, we ain't got it together.
Facts.
Our turn up is whack.
Yeah. Well, everybody just wants to be seen at Lakers games, so it's like a bunch of model people just sitting there. But Clippers fans are like,
it's a
I
party,
my friend yesterday was like, I'm so glad the ratchet Clippers fans are leaving. And I was like, oh, we're taking the party with us, is what I told them.
It's a party at Clipper
People
games,
have literally
boy.
told me to shush. Like, you're cheering too loud.
At a Laker game, yeah. Nah, it's a party at Clipper games.
Obviously, obviously Steve Ballmer, who is like the, old head of Microsoft or whatever, he is saying this new facility is going to be super high tech. It's going to have all the latest like technology and stuff. Like they even said there's going to be whole sections where everybody has like their own like tablet where they can order food on and like just have it delivered to their seat. So I am like so excited. Hopefully it does get done in 2024 so we can get this party started in Inglewood. But I'm excited, and I think he literally wanted to make it happen so bad that he bought the entire forum. Like, shout out to him.
And that's what I was going to say. My hating self still has a problem with this because as great as that is, it still helps that mole James Dolan because now you just gave all that money to him, and I know not a cent of that is going to that organization that desperately needs money and help in the New York Knicks. So it's just like, yeah, that's dope, but then wait a minute, James Dolan about to go sit on that money. So good for you guys, but wait, I still lose.
And then all this money I do want to mention, I forgot to mention, is all private money. So it's all his private money. He is not taking any taxpayer dollars or anything for any of these projects. So that's another great thing that I did want to mention.
Plus, we won't have to see y'all when we win the ring first. So
here we go.
It's a good look.
Let's wrap up this show. I like leaving it on that note. You guys, we're going to be back again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, hopefully with less technical difficulties. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Let's do the handshake, you guys.
Oh, yeah. Hit me up.
There we go.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Subscribe, tap the bell, give this video a thumbs up, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.